Oh, त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं गुरुदेव देव कुण्डलिकुमारि कुटिले चण्डि चराचर सवित्रि चामुण्डे गुणिनि गुहारिणि गुह्ये गुरुमूर्ते त्वां नमामि कामाक्षी गुरुमूर्ते त्वां नमामि कामाक्षी गुरुमूर्ते त्वां नमामि कामाक्षी नमस्ते नमस्ते महादेव शम्भो नमस्ते नमस्ते दयापूर्ण सिन्धो नमस्ते नमस्ते प्रपन्नात्मबन्धो नमस्ते 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 महेशा नमस्ते 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 महेशा नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते नारायणी नमोस्तुते. It's a blessed day and I think today is Akshay Tritiya because there is a local priest in the area who sends WhatsApp messages for every Tithi, and I received a message from him this morning saying today is Akshay Tritiya. So if it is Akshay Tritiya, it is Mother's will. If we are gathered here to listen to the glories of the Divine Mother on Akshay Tritiya, it is Mother's will. How we conduct ourselves today, in what bhav we situate ourselves today, is also Mother's will. Akshay. Kshay is something that comes down, that recedes as time goes by. Akshay is the day wherein whatever you sow seeds, whatever seed you sow today, it will never recede, it will never come down. So on this blessed occasion of Akshay Tritiya, today we will be listening to the glories of the Divine Mother in the form of Vidya Gita, Shri Vidya Gita. Vidya is Mother's name. Vidya means knowledge. Jagannata's Swarup is Satchit Anand. And that pure knowledge is Vidya. So Vidya Gita are words of the Divine Mother herself in the form of knowledge, wherein she talks about in what aspects am I worshipped, in what aspects, how do the seekers reach me, what kind of seekers are present, what type of sadhana, what type of siddhas. She explains all this in detail in Vidya Gita, which is what we will hear today, Mother's own sweet words. And this is part of Tripura Rahasya that we are continuing on with. So, Dattatreya Ji Maharaj is expounding on the highest of knowledge, which is Tripura. He is expounding on the highest of knowledge to his beloved disciple Parshuram by various stories and examples and direct knowledge also. And if you see from the very beginning, the same thing has been expounded with various stories, with different scenarios, but the same knowledge has been given over and over and over and over again. Because that is how, if you remember Janak, Raja Janak's telling Ashtavakra, one has to listen to the truth by the Guru repeatedly in various ways, so the darkness of ignorance can be dispelled completely. So here, Dattatriji says that let me tell you a story that happened long time ago. All the great rishis, all these realized rishis, once had a set of questions. They got together and they got a set of questions. After having those questions, they said, okay, none of us here is eligible to answer these questions. So we're going to go to Brahmadev and we'll pose these questions to him and let's see what he has to say. So when they went to Lord Brahma and said, listen, we all have some questions, but we have also concluded that none of us know the answer. And we are not going to be happy with each other's answer. Hence, we have come to you. When Brahmadev heard this, he inferred that these people, although they're all realized, they were not happy with each other's answers. What answer will I give that they'll be happy? They won't be, because they know that there is still Vishnu and Shiv who are still present, who can give different answers. So I'm not going to waste my time because they're not coming here with faith. So let me also join them. Let me just tell them that, hey, I also don't know these answers. Let's go to Vishnu. That's what they did. But Vishnu also, Lord Vishnu also said, these people are not really here to listen to me either. Whatever I tell them, they'll be like, really? Is this the truth? Let's go ask Shankar. So then he said, let's just go to Mahadev. Let's ask him what he thinks. They went to Mahadev and Mahadev saw the same thing. Then he said, let's do this. The answers to your questions, let us go directly to the source and let us ask the supreme goddess, because you want knowledge, right? Let us ask the personification of knowledge, which is goddess Parashakti, Tripura Sundari. Let's all invoke her. Let's meditate upon her and invoke her. When she arrives, she'll answer all your questions. And they were like, yeah, that sounds much better. So we have no more authority to go further. She is the ultimate authority. So let's just invoke her. Let's just ask her these questions directly. That's what they did. They went ahead and meditated upon the Divine Mother. And then Mother appeared in the form of Vak, Paravak, which is in the form of sound. Mother, not in the form of a form, but in the form of sound. So when she appeared, the sages, they expressed gratitude to the Divine Mother by glorifying her. And in glorifying her, the way they glorified her is by describing her as the highest knowledge. They said, O Mother Divine, the highest of all, Shri Vidya, with folded hands, we bow in front of you. So they're saying, O Mother Divine, the highest of all, there is nothing beyond her. She is the highest of all, the great Divine Mother. O Mother Divine, the highest of all, Shri Vidya. Shri, as we said, is Aishwari or prosperity. The true prosperity of a human life is the life itself. The feeling of being alive is the true prosperity. And the knowledge of that which gives you that feeling of being alive is Sri Vidya, which is nothing but the Divine Mother. The sages prayed to Tripura, the goddess of knowledge itself, and said, O Mother Divine, the highest of all, Shri Vidya, with folded hands we bow in front of you. You are the cause, Shri Mata. You are the sustenance, Shri Maharagni, and annihilation of this universe, Srimat Simhasaneshwari. O Supreme Goddess, we prostrate in front of you. You are most ancient. Mother's name is Purvaja. Purvaja, as in she is the ancestors of ancestors of ancestors, the foremost ancestor. Purvaja, the ancient one. You were never born. Therefore, you're ever fresh, Nitya Yogana, because you never go to decay. You are all in all, the existence of all, the knower of all, and bestower of happiness. You are beyond all phenomenon of the universe, untouched by the universe, unattached. You are that which gives rise to the entire phenomenal world, yet you, Mother, remain untouched, unattached, which is why everything about the Divine Mother is compared to that of a lotus, remaining deep in that murky water, remaining deep in that muck. She remains unattached, ever so beautiful. O Mother Goddess, again we bow to thee. We pray to thee from all directions again and again. They're not just saying, let me pray to you standing in front of me, because if that would mean she's not behind you, she's not to the side. So that's what they're saying. We pray to thee from all directions again and again. The sun and the light of the sun is going in all directions. Which direction are you going to say, this is where the ray of the sun is? You are form and formless. You are the mother of fulfillment and knowledge. You are the fruit of real sadhana. You are the seeker. You are the adept. And you are the highest of all adepts. And then you will see, she'll say that I alone will become the seeker. I alone will pretend like I'm seeking. I alone am the guru. And I alone am the sadhana. Because if the sun and the sun's rays, you, for your own intellectual understanding, split up, oh, this from this part to this part of the sun's ray is the seeker. From this part to this part is the seeking. From here to there, that point right there is the adept. It's your own creation. Mother is saying, I alone am everything. I'm the seeker, I'm the seeking, I'm the sought. I'm the siddh, I'm the sadhana, I'm the sadhak. And then they say, kindly explain everything systematically. Again, we bow down to you reverentially. At the request of the sages, Tripura, the Supreme Mother, the very embodiment of knowledge, spoke compassionately in her clear and authoritative voice. Doesn't that remind you of Swami? His words are very clear, very simple, yet supremely authoritative, because they're coming from the point of truth. Sages, listen to me. I will systematically explain everything to you guys. Then she goes on to give the same knowledge that we have been reading over and over again in the past few Tripura Rahasya satsangs, from the very beginning, actually. And she says this whole universe that you see is the image in a mirror. That mirror is me. Those images are me. The source of those images, that's me too. I am everything. Like the sun and the rays of the sun cannot be separated, I alone am. The ignorant people see the world, but the yogis look at the world as pure knowledge. They don't go around saying this is all false. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Before we can announce and proclaim that Jagat is Mithya, we have to realize the first part, which is Brahma Satyam, Jagan Mithya. Only then we can say Jagan Mithya. But the devotees of the Divine Mother never say that Jagat is Mithya. Just like the sun is Lord Shiva and the rays of the sun are the Divine Mother. For yogis, the world is nothing but pure knowledge because it is the light of the sun. The one who is self-delighted and remains calm and undisturbed. Great devotees call it one absolute blissful Sat Chit Anand. And she says that Sat Chit Anand which is the Supreme Mother, which is the Divine Mother, the Sat Chit Ananda. She is saying that this whole universe is nothing but Sat Chit Ananda. Ignorant people look at it as the world. Yogis look at it as the pure knowledge. And that Sat Chit Ananda is nothing but the Divine Mother. Everyone worships the Divine Mother or the truth or Sat Chit Anand or any other form according to their knowledge, their pure love and devotion. She says, I am the very basis. I am the very basis of the senses and the internal states. Without me, nothing exists, O sages. Know this for a fact. I am the very basis the senses function. Remember the Drishya Vivek. If the world is the object, who's looking at the object? The senses. But the senses are also an object. Who's looking at the senses? The mind. But the mind is also an object. Who's looking at the mind? The Atma. So she is saying that I am the very basis of the senses and all the internal states. Nothing exists without me. And that which is the subject matter of all the scriptures, that is me. That is my real nature. I am called Tripura. Pura is city. Tri is three. She says, I am Tripura. I am Tripura Sundari, which means I am the true beauty that exists in the waking state, dreaming state, and the deep sleep. Yet I remain Sarvatita Vivarjita. I am beyond all these states. She says, this is my Paraswarup. Then let me tell you, there is an Aparaswarup. Now, the way to understand Para and Apara is you take sugar. Sugar has sweetness, right? You can either just take a spoonful of sugar or they make small dolls out of sugar. You take that sugar and you make a little doll. The doll is full of sugar. Whether you take that doll, like, small tiny birds, and during Holi, they come, small tiny things of sugar. Either you eat that or you eat like a spoonful of sugar. What you taste is sweetness. Similarly, I just described to you the Paraswarup, which is the Sat Chit Ananda Swarup, which is the very basis of the objects, the senses, the mind. All of this is permeated by my Paraswarup. That Paraswarup is the subject matter of all the scriptures. That is the self-illumined reality. That is your true self. That is called Tripura. That is my Paraswarup. But devotees, out of their pure love and devotion, worship me in my Aparaswarup. And the Aparaswarup is the one we all worship, Divine Mother with her beautiful form. So tell me, whether you worship the Apara Swarup or the Para Swarup, what you taste is sweetness. Because whether you eat a spoonful of sugar or whether you eat these small toys or small shapes made up of sugar, they're both going to taste sweet. And she says, my Apara Swarup, let me tell you, far beyond all these worlds, there is an ocean of eternal bliss. In the center of that ocean, there is an island of gems, Swayam Prakashit. There is an island. In that island, there is Kadambavan. There is like a beautiful forest of Kadam trees. There is many bilva trees, Kadamba trees, and in between that there is a Chintamani Graha. Inside that Chintamani Graha, I sit on a Simhasan, which has Brahma, Vishnu, Rudra, Sadashiv, and Ishwar as the five legs of that Simhasan. I sit, and that's my Apara Swarup. And then she says that whether devotees worship me as the Para or the Apara, they end up in the same place. Because, oh sages, both are made up of the same sweetness. That is my true nature. Whether you worship the truth or whether you worship the truth in the form of Divine Mother or in the form of Sri Hari or in the form of your Guru, they are made up of the same raw material, which is Sat Chit Anand. And then she says, people worship me, but they all receive fruits of their worship according to their sadhana, according to how, with what intention they worship me. She says, people receive fruits according to their own sadhana. O seers, my powers are limitless. It's such a powerful statement. Mother Divine is saying, my powers are limitless, O sages. But depending upon how much people depend on me, I let them have so much. If you say, Mother, I got this, but take care of this, I'll only take care of that. You say, oh, this is the only thing I want you to take care, Mother. Okay, I'll only take care of that thing. Which is what Swami was saying in his video yesterday. A deep surrender to your Isht. When you truly become a child, when you truly become a child and you depend on the mother for everything, because the logical mind will say, really, I got this, I can take care of this. Well, okay, take care of this. But mother is proclaiming, my powers are limitless. Why do you doubt? Oh, seers, my powers are limitless. The more someone depends on me, the more they have access to my power. Because I am the empress of this creation. What is it that I cannot bring into existence or I cannot take away? It all depends on your faith. She says that my light shines forth throughout the universe. Nijaruna Prabha Pura Majjat Brahmanda Mandala. The light emanating from the Divine Mother's aura passes and permeates the entire creation, not just the solar system. Ananta Koti Brahmanda Janani Divya Vigraha. Everywhere. She says, my own Shakti, with my own Shakti, I create Maya. Maya is what makes you be attached. Maya is what makes you get attracted towards the pleasures of the world. Maya is what prevents you from knowing me. And then she says, but I alone can remove this Maya. Then she says, I can only be realized, but I am beyond comprehension. I read a very, very beautiful statement by Swami yesterday. He says the present moment is so short. What are you going to comprehend that moment? What are you going to try to understand that moment? It's incomprehensible. That's why you just be in the present moment. Before you decide to comprehend, that moment is gone. He's saying, what meaning do you keep looking for in life? Oh, I know. Oh, I know. What meaning? What comprehension do you need? Just be in the present moment, live and laugh. The present moment is too short to comprehend. It's incomprehensible. She says, I can only be realized. O seers, O sages, know that I can only be realized. I am beyond comprehension. By my own primal Shakti, it seems that I'm born and will die in the world. Again, it is as though I become the disciple of my Gurudev, realize the knowledge of Atman, attain freedom, and again attain moksha. You see, she is saying, by my own Shakti, by my own Maya Shakti, it seems that I'm born and I will die in the world. Again, it is as though I become the disciple of my Guru, realize the Atman, attain freedom, and again attain moksha. In the same article I was reading by Swami, he says, when the universe was created by God, he was in such a playful mood, such a happy mood. If not, if he were serious, probably the world wouldn't be so beautiful. And here Mother is saying, with my own Maya Shakti, I play this game that I'm born, then I'll die, then someday I'll meet a guru, then I'll work hard to attain the knowledge of Atman, then I'll attain freedom, again and again I'll attain moksha. This is just a play, you guys. And she's saying, without any help or means, the universe continues to function like this because it's a big play for me. Swami says, when you understand the joke of life, you really get the joke of life. So Mother is saying, listen, don't take it so seriously, you guys, you seers, with all this beard and everything you've grown, take it easy. I alone am playing this game. I alone appear to be many. I alone appear. Sahasra Shirsha Vadana, Sahastrakshi, Sahastrapat. This is Mother's name. Sahasra Shirsha Vadana. The one with Sahasra doesn't just mean 1,000. Sahasra is used when you want to say innumerable, infinite. Sahasra Shirsha Vadana, Sahastrakshi, Sahastrapat. The one with infinite heads, infinite faces, infinite eyes, infinite arms. That's the universal body. We are all her forms. Her own Maya plays this role. In this way, my faces are multifarious, having thousands of eyes. Even the Shesh cannot count my countless powers. Forget about comprehension. Forget about imagination. We cannot even come close. She's saying even Sheshnath with infinite heads cannot count my countless powers. Such is the refuge of the Divine Mother. It should send a wave of bliss that, oh my God, I am in the refuge of my mother. She is the ultimate power. What can she not do? But the mind says, no, I cannot ask for this. This is not possible. How is this possible? No, how is this possible? Well, suffer, keep suffering. The day you say, Mother, I'm your child, take care of me like you would take care of a child. And then simply sit and watch the show. Then she says, let me give you the very essence. The philosophies of dualities are many because their existence depends on the existence of someone. Duality is like a dream or a kingdom in the dreaming state. We have gone through all of this knowledge, what duality is. If you have questions, there have to be answers. Duality exists right there. If you are the seeker, then there is something to be sought. If you are the disciple, then there is a guru. That's what Swami says in his Bhagavad Gita. The gopis, they never wanted any label. They're just gopis. One term for everyone. Even Radha Devi, most of the scriptures say she was just a gopi. To say just a gopi, just, I have no words, because sometimes we just use words like, oh, she's just a gopi. They were just gopis. They were situated in Mahabhav. So Swami says they never looked for labels because we already have enough labels. Now, do you also want a label of I'm a seeker? And then we add on adjectives. I'm a serious seeker. The fruit of meditation on Brahman is moksha, but in reality, pure knowledge is called one absolute without a second. I am beyond and above all. I am Shri Vidya. And here comes the most important thing. Without pure devotion, who can attain the knowledge of absolute? And this is what the Puranic Katha is wherein, Ma Yashoda is trying to tie Lord Krishna. It is not our efforts. It can never be our efforts. But when she gave up and she started crying out of total helplessness, it was his mercy that he said, here, tie me down now. I'll get tied down. Before it was the ego, let me tie you down. Finally, the ego gave up. When the ego is gone, all that remains is divinity. So Lord Krishna says, here, come tie me now. I'm willing to get tied. Without pure devotion, who can attain the knowledge of the Absolute? When the mind and its modifications flow towards the eternal center, the Atman, O seers, pure Atman is realized. When the mind and its modification, and that's the beauty of Sagun Bhakti. When you are devoted to a form, your mind continuously runs towards that form. Your thoughts, that's the power of being in love. When you're in love, your thoughts are just effortlessly flowing towards the beloved. And Mother is saying, whether you worship me in the formless aspect, as Satchit Anand, as the truth, as the Atman, or in a formed aspect, the essence is the same. So whether your mind is flowing, your mind and its modifications are flowing towards a formed aspect of the Divine Mother, her form, her glories, her songs, her love, or whether as a yogi you're situated in the center, you're centered, you're centered, you're centered, you're experiencing the same bliss. She says, by making sincere efforts, pure Atman is known. When that Atman is not identified with the body, it is called real knowledge. And we have already come to that conclusion that I have a body, that I have a mind. I can see the outside world. I am not the body. I am not the mind. I am not the outside world. I just am. But the mind The outside world, the senses, they are all nothing but the light emanating from me. I am the center of my world. She goes on to say that real knowledge is that through which duality disappears. Then she says something very funny actually. Just as after enlightenment, the ancient doubtful nature disappears. It's so funny how she uses the ancient doubtful nature because it's not from this lifetime. She knows it's from lifetimes to lifetimes to lifetimes ago. It's ancient doubtful nature disappears. Just as after enlightenment, the ancient doubtful nature disappears, in exactly the same way the clouds are dispersed by the force of the wind. That is real knowledge. When you have no doubts, no questions, you're just left with answers. When there is no doubt, mother, are you real? Is mother really real? I can see her. None of those remain. Then she says, if there is anything to be obtained other than Atman, then there will be fear. If one has realized that all there is my own light, then where is the room for fear? Because fear comes directly from duality, that I exist and someone else exists. Hence, I'm scared. I exist and something else exists, someone else exists. But here we are saying, I exist and is my light alone is manifesting as my mind, my senses, my world, my people, my relations, my friends. It's all my own light. Where is the duality? The realization of that self-existent Atman is the state of ultimate fearlessness. In the 15th chapter, Purushottam Yoga, Lord Krishna describes the attributes of a Purushottam, Uttam Purush, of a self-realized person. And the very first attribute he says is fearlessness. Because I alone am. What am I scared of? Who do I fear? This state has been identical with the self of all wise men. This is moksha. It occurs when the knower, the knowledge, and that which is attained become one. Because right now, I am a sadhak, I am seeking from a siddh. And what am I seeking? The sadhya. Jnana, Jnatru, Jneya. So this 333, still there. But realization that I alone am. When I say I am the seeker, then a list of things come up. When I say I am seeking, another few things in the list come up. I'm seeking the siddha, I'm seeking the sadhya, another few. In reality, it's all nothing but the rays of the sun within me, and the light of the sun as my world. So, who is the seeker? Who is the siddha? Who is the sadhya? And who is the sadhana? What's the sadhana? So, that is pure knowledge. Then alone one is completely free from fear and attains liberation. And the entire mind and its modifications, along with shallow knowledge, vanish. But remember, this seeker, sought, sadhak, seeking, sadhana, sadhya, all of this, Mother says, is her own Maya that she has put in place. And the one who has put the Maya in place alone can remove the Maya. What do we need to do? Pure devotion and love. We just need to keep seeking her refuge. She knows when to turn on the light in its full brightness. so as to not hurt our eyes. Like I gave the example of waking your child up. You don't want to just open up all the windows, switch on all the lights, and totally bright. Slowly, slowly, slowly. Having that faith in mother, having the faith in her decisions, in her will, just loving her without no seeking, nothing. Just love her, love her, love her. Let your love, your devotion, your surrender be the pillar of your life. Rest all, she'll take care. She knows when to give knowledge, what knowledge to give. Why worry about it? Instead of worrying about, let me seek this knowledge, let me do this kriya, let me do that, just love her. Just love her, seek her refuge, seek her refuge, seek her refuge. She knows what needs to be done and she'll do it. Mother says the seeker is not aware of self existent reality. If you remember last time, Parshuramji Maharaj asked Dattatreya, you're telling me satsang, sometimes you tell me grace, sometimes you say your own efforts. Tell me for a fact, what is the sure, short way of attaining freedom, attaining liberation? Which one is it? And for that, the Tatriji Maharaj says, you want one word answer? It is satsang. Satsang means association with your guru, with a Satguru, with a realized master alone is the means for liberation. So here he's saying that no person will be aware of self-existent reality. Just think about it. Before meeting Swami, was this even on the horizon of your mind? Maybe it was, but it's only when you came in contact with a Satguru, you knew, wait a second, there is something beyond this. Gurus and scriptures alone can confirm this reality. There is no other way. As long as one is aware of the knower, the knowledge, and the means through which it is gained, that is not the state of enlightenment. She says, till the time you are a seeker, you're seeking something out there. There is knower, there is knowledge, and the means. Triputi. Till the time there is three, jnana, jnatra, jnaya. Till then, there is no enlightenment. And that division as the knower, knowledge, the means, that's Maya. That's the ruling power of the Divine Mother that has been placed. Don't start making efforts to just dissolve it. The one who has placed it in place will remove it when she thinks it's right. So instead of suffering in the seeking, let go. Completely surrender to her will. Mother, you know what's best. I'm just happy loving you. Just loving you, loving you, loving you, just enjoying my devotion, enjoying my love, looking for nothing in the future, looking for no fireworks to happen in the skies. And that's Nishkam Bhakti. I have no ulterior motive to love you. I just love you because that love completes me. And I have nothing else to give you except my love. Just keep loving her because that's the most powerful tool. She says, from the beginning to the end, there is only one self-existent truth. Only for accomplishing worldly duties does there seem to be a diversity. In the beginning and end, one is always one. Isn't that true? The feeling of I is the same for a 3-year-old or a 93-year-old. He's still, no one else has to come and says, you are. He says, yes, I am. But the I am slaps on labels as as we go through the worldly life. I am a child. Let me play, 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 play. I am now a student. Let me study and play. I am this, I am that, I'm this and that. Finally, I'm an old man. These are all labels, but the I am remains the same. From beginning to end, there is only one self existent truth. Only for accomplishing worldly duties does there seem to be a diversity, but there is only one. Because of the veil of Maya, ignorance, one Atman is seen as the knower, the doer, and the deed. Until the veil lifts, the whole world stands like a huge mountain of obstacles. So if you look at your life and you're like, man, there are so many obstacles, seek her refuge with a firm faith that Mother's powers are limitless, countless. There is nothing she can't do. But let her decide what's good. Don't go and pray saying, Mother, I have come to know that this particular friend of mine has this problem, so why don't you fix it this way? Then you're going and telling her, Mother, I'm more intelligent than you. Let me tell you what needs to be done. No. Don't pray saying, Mother, this is the problem in my house, fix it like this. Yatha yogyam tatha kuru. You alone know what needs to be done. Do as you please. If you look at Swaminar questions, most of the answers Swami gives. May divine grace be with you. Mother alone knows. Let Mother do what's best for you. He's not going to say to Mother, oh, Mother, I read this Swaminar question and I think you should do this for them. It's like telling the mother, you're not intelligent enough, let me tell you what needs to be done. For attaining final liberation, all resources should be applied. If all efforts are made with full compassion and a one-pointed mind, then one does not need any other means. And here, Mother starts telling or expounding on the kind of effort one needs to make. She says, forget about efforts. The very first thing you need is sankalp, or full, firm determination. Firm determination says, yes, I am going to attain this. No matter if thousands of means. She says, if you don't have firm determination, no matter if thousands of means are applied, it will be of no use. She says, one has to say, no matter what happens, I have to accomplish it. I have to attain to the truth. And that's the burning desire. That's the burning desire. That yes, I want the truth. I want my mother. I'm going to love her with all my devotion. Let me see if my love has the power to melt her. And then she says, depending upon the strength, purity, and determination, the practitioner attains freedom in a few days, months, years, or in the next life. Depending upon what? The strength, the purity, and determination. No matter what, I'm going to melt you, Mother, with my love. I'm going to keep loving you with as much intensity as I can muster. She says there are many impurities in the mind that disturb and defeat the seeker's efforts. She says, let's say you have the determination, you have full determination. Yes, I'm going to do this. Then she says, then comes the next hurdle in the mind. The mind has many impurities that not only disturb, they defeat the seeker's efforts. And because of these impurities in the mind, they're born again and again and again into this terrible world. The first impurity of the mind, Mother says, is lack of faith. The second, the desire to gratify your senses. The third, inertia. Lack of faith that there is There is this thing called the truth. Is mother even real? Should I even make any efforts towards this? That's lack of faith. The desire to gratify your senses, which means if you are not able to detach from the world and attach to the higher, then you're still, gratifying your senses. Someone says something nice, you can look at something nice, you can. It doesn't mean you stop living in the world. It does not mean you don't buy good clothes. It does not mean you don't eat good food. All it means is you do everything. Where is your mind? Is your mind dwelling? If all day you're thinking about cooking and eating and eating and eating, then your mind is there. But if you sit down, you eat a good meal, done. Which is why, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? What am I thinking? What am I dwelling on is important. So she says the first impurity is lack of faith. For lack of faith, she says, one is doubt and the other is hallucination. Is there anything like moksha? Really? Is there anything like moksha? Lack of faith. And second, is there a bondage? I feel pretty free. I don't know what people keep talking. There's bondage, there is bondage. I don't feel any bondage. Either you're unaware, blissfully unaware that there is bondage, you're really bound by people's behavior, just spikes anger in you. You're bound. You have a thought of something, you just don't even know that there is a choice of dropping that thought. You're bound. So she says lack of faith comes from two things. First, you are allowing doubt. Is there anything like moksha? Is there anything like Mother Divine? Second, you're not even acknowledging that there is bondage. You just don't know. You're like, I don't know if there is, I don't know if I'm bound. I'm pretty happy in my life. She's saying both of these are serious obstructions in sadhana. And then she says, how can you remove these two? With firm determination, both of these obstacles can be removed. So you have to use your firm determination. No, there is something called moksha. Mother Divine is real because my guru says Mother is real. Yes, there is bondage. Most of it, maybe I know. Some of it, I don't even know. But by Mother's grace, it will surface and I will be able to identify it and I will be able to work on it. There is no other way. And then she says, non belief and thinking contrary to the sayings of the scriptures. Non belief is just not having faith and using your own mind. The Vedas are proclaiming that there is one truth, there is this truth, and you're like, nah, I don't believe it. It's like this. After removal of logical thinking, after removal of thinking contrary to the sayings of the scriptures, after removing the non belief, firm faith arises. So she says the first problem is lack of faith. And then she says, how do you tackle lack of faith? You drop every thought that is of non belief, you drop every thought that is contrary to the sayings of the scriptures, and you discard your logic. If you have to use your logic, use it to understand scriptures. Don't use your logic against your own liberation. And use firm determination, and this will improve your faith. Then she says the desire to enjoy worldly objects creates an obstacle in listening to the teacher. So she says the one whose mind is filled with desire cannot comprehend the truth, which is what we discussed exhaustively last time. How these desires create clouded minds, and how a mind filled with desire cannot comprehend these subtle truths. When the mind is preoccupied, which is what we are saying, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? What am I preoccupied with? Do you even know? What do you think all day? Such a student is always preoccupied with desired object. What are you thinking? Are you thinking about the Divine Mother all day? Let's say, okay, even if not all day, is majority of your mind thinking about the Divine Mother? At least is that happening? Because a preoccupied mind cannot see the reality as is. Mind is so occupied with the cloud that it cannot see the reality as is. Then she says there are thousands of impure desires. Strongest among them is calm, the desire to enjoy. Calm just means the desire to enjoy. What you enjoy with your senses. Whether you're just dwelling on food, food, food. One of my friends is fanatic about organic food. All she reads, all she talks about is what kind of oil to use, what kind of vegetables to buy, what kind of milk to buy. Oh, you can grow these vegetables yourself, this, that. Fanatic. So keep asking, what am I thinking? What am I thinking? What's your mind thinking? You should know. And she says, for this problem, wherein the mind is occupied with worldly desires, the only way is vairagya. Constant vairagya is practicing dispassion by knowing that everything is going to change. Slowly detach. And the last one is inertia. She says inertia is the third impurity, and she says inertia can be removed by devotion. If you have devotion to the Absolute, or devotion to the Divine Mother, devotion to truth, that is the only way to remove inertia. Inertia doesn't just mean laziness. Inertia means the mind is slipping into the old tendencies because of inertia, because of just habitual pattern, compulsiveness. It's just slipping. So Mother is saying that inertia can be overcome by devotion. She says if those who suffer on account of this inertia apply all their resources in devotion, they will receive their fruits either in this lifetime or the next. Such is the glory of devotion. What can you not achieve by pure love? If love is not enough, I wonder what else in these three worlds could be. Mother says, all spiritual practices have only one goal, and that is to attain me. One who with a pure heart and mind devotes himself to me crosses all barriers and attains bliss. All spiritual practices have only one goal, that is to attain me. One who with pure heart and mind devotes himself to me crosses all barriers and attains bliss. One who ignoring me treads the path of spirituality stumbles at every step. When she says me, remember the two forms that she has described, the para and apara. In apara, you take up a form of sugar. You take up one formed aspect and you start enjoying it. In para, you just take the sugar as is the truth. So it doesn't matter which way. Ignoring the truth, you tread the path of spirituality, you stumble at every step. Therefore, O seers, the main requirement for sadhana is firm determination. And one who has that is a higher sadhak. The one who has firm determination is a higher sadhak. Among the ones who have firm determination, he who is endowed with devotion towards me is most revered. Perfection means considering the body to be non-self and centering one's awareness in the self. This is Siddhi. So she says, who is a sadhak? Sadhak is the one who has firm determination. And who is the highest sadhak? the one who has firm determination and who has devotion. And who is a Siddha? Siddh is the one who is constantly centered in his self. The awareness is in the self. That's perfection, or that's Siddhi. She says, those practitioners who identify pure consciousness through which all objects are illumined, they alone remove all the impurities. Those purified ones remain absorbed in that realization. I'll repeat this again. She says, the practitioners or sadhaks who identify pure consciousness, who identify the pure consciousness through which everything is illumined. The body, the mind, the senses, the objects, the experiences, the thought, everything is illumined by that pure consciousness. They alone remove all the impurities. Those purified ones remain absorbed in that realization. Then she talks about all these siddhis traveling through space, and she says all these are distractions. Pure knowledge is knowledge of the Atman. Siddhis are all distractions. She says they are not even 1/16th part of the highest siddhi, which is self-realization. There is no siddhi superior to self-realization. Then she says, according to the Vedic scriptures, because the Vedas are the very breath of the Divine Mother. She says, according to the Vedic scriptures, the sadhana for purifying the mind and the knowledge of the pure consciousness is of 3 categories: first, second, and third. So here she's talking about sadhana. When one has firm faith, Mother is real. No one can come and tell you, hey, listen, what are you doing? Mother is not real. All this is not real. And if your faith isn't even touched, then you know you have firm faith. When no one in this world can come and tell you Mother is unreal, then you have firm faith. When one has firm faith and a sharpened intellect and has attained deep contemplation, such a one can recite the Shrutis appropriately, though he remains in the midst of worldly activities. See, she says, you can be in the midst of worldly activities, but you have firm faith, you have a sharpened intellect, and you deeply contemplate what is true, what is not true. She's saying, then such a sadhak is of the first category. One who remains aware of the self amid worldly activities belongs to the second category. One who remains sincerely engaged in Vedic studies and at times commit mistakes in pronunciation belongs to the third category. So we have seen how there are 3 categories. Some who are just reciting Vedas, some who are just in worldly activities yet are aware of the self, and some who are in the midst of worldly activities, have firm faith, have a sharpened intellect, and are deeply contemplative. I hope everyone is still awake. Wake up, wake up. O seers, ultimately the science of the knowledge of Atman is threefold. That knowledge makes one aware of the real self in all activities is the first category. You see, Mother is not saying give up all activities, sit down in a cave and meditate. She's saying the highest is when you are performing activities. You see, Swami realized, and it's not like he said, now that I'm realized, I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. He's busier than all of us, in the midst of worldly activities, yet ever remaining centered in the self. Then she says the second category is only when one is engrossed in external activities, you're aware of the self. And the third category is the lowest one, wherein you are only aware of the self during meditation. So, first, second, and third. So, she says the highest state is no matter what activity you're doing, yogaratova, bhogaratova, sangaratova, sangarahina, yasya brahmani ramate chitta, nandati, nandati, nandatyeva. No matter what you're doing, where you are, in whose company you are, you're ever aware of the self. That's the highest. Second, few activities you're aware, few activities you're unaware. That's the second. Third, you're only aware during meditation. And then she says there is a state wherein you are aware of the knowledge of the self, even in your dream and other states. When without making any effort, the knowledge of self realization is maintained, that is also the highest. Then she goes on to say there are many types of highest of siddhis. One of the ones is when knowledge of Atman exists, even as previous sanskaras take their toll, that is also highest. And this is what we were discussing, saying if you find yourself getting angry, or you may have just spit venom at someone, it's okay, come back to the center. Practice coming back to the center, don't dwell, because that's what it is. When knowledge of Atman exists, even as when the previous sanskaras take their toll, the power of the previous sanskaras has come, you got angry. But instantly you center yourself. You don't just dwell in that anger. Then she says, when without making any effort, the knowledge of self-realization is maintained, that is also the highest. Then she says, when a man engages in worldly activities and sees the polarities of objects, yet internally remains above all, that is also highest. Those yogis who in the waking state perform their actions yet remain completely rested and free from all attachments are also considered to be in the highest state. One with such a siddhi is the highest of all seekers. One whose samadhi is not disturbed even while functioning in the external world is higher than any other seeker. Coming back to that joke that Swami told about Mullah Nasruddin bringing a bull. And then people are like, hey, why are you making the bull work? It's such a great bull. It's such an expensive bull. And Mullah says, well, no matter how expensive, it needs to work. So it's not like, Swami renounced, self-realized, okay, now no more work to be done. He is more busy, working more tirelessly than all of us to display that highest of siddhi, that not disturbed, internally he is not disturbed even while functioning in the external world. He's the highest. One who does not have even a single doubt or desire and is fearless in functioning in the world is considered to be a siddha, an accomplished one. One who sees both the bound and liberated individuals in his own self and thus realizes himself to be the Atman of all. In your own light, you are seeing liberated souls. In your own light, you are seeing the people who are bound. So that's what she says, one who sees the bound and liberated individuals in his own self and thus realizes himself to be the Atman of all is higher than any other seeker. One who sees the ignorant and wise in himself. One who renounces even the desire for self-realization and sees both bondage and knowledge within himself. What to say? I am that accomplished one. There is no difference between him and me. Such a great adept, such a siddha. Mother says, what else to say to you, O sages? I am that accomplished one. There is no difference between him and me. All glories to Swami. O seers, I have resolved all your questions. If you contemplate on my teaching, you will be free from attachment. Saying this, Mother Divine went into deep silence. All the questions, all the darkness of ignorance was removed. And this is Vidya Gita. So, on that note, expressing our deepest gratitude to the Divine Mother for giving us her devotion, her love, and her refuge. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Hari Om Tat Sat. Narayani Namostute. Hari Om Tat Sat.